In the headlines, the Dominica Trade Union tells Jacques Gadacan it is time to pay outstanding salaries to employees of West Indies Aggregate. Private sector managers now better prepared to increase productivity in the workplace. And the DFP recommends Dominica patterns on regional counterparts in sanitizing its voters list. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News. Back with the details after this. Thank you for staying with us. First up, the Dominica Trade Union is threatening to explore other options on behalf of employees of West Indies Aggregate Limited if management does not pay outstanding salaries dating back to a 2-year collective agreement in 2009.
General Secretary of the Dominica Trade Union, Bernard Nicholas, has expressed his frustration to Channel 5 News about what he says appears as reluctance by management of West Indies Aggregate Limited to pay workers. Last year, a tribunal ruled that employees' salaries should have been paid by March 31st, 2017.
It was not until 2012, thereabout, that, I had to take the matter to the minister, and we had a tribunal set up. Now, the tribunal eventually met on the 16th of November last year. Now, all our claims was accepted by Jacques Gadacan and his lawyer.
Nicholas says the sum of the retroactive pay is not known since the company's management is responsible for computing the amount.
Our agreement was that they would, one, retroactive pay, because they had paid the people some of the money, but they paid them late. Therefore, they would have to pay them retroactive from the date we had signed that negotiation. And the date was in 2009. What was agreed? One, retroactive payment for the period September 2009, that is to May 2012. The sum owed to be calculated and shall be paid to the employees by March 31st, 2017. That's March of this year.
There is also the issue of meeting to settle 2 collective agreements for 2011 to 2014 and 2014 to 2017. Nicholas admits some outstanding monies were paid to employees under previous managers of the Collio Quarry.
In February, he met me just at the end of the bridge on the Roseau side in Bath Road. And he asked me to give him 2 weeks because he still has some problems. That is to calculate the amount of money due to the workers in terms of back pay, and then to send the amount that was supposed to be deducted as remittance to the union. I said, okay, wait a minute. But that was February, and we are now almost in the end of May. I hope Jack will understand that this is long overdue and the workers are suffering.
Mr. Nicholas, could industrial action be an option for you at this point?
I live in everything quietly. I'm not going to speak about anything. As I said, we have other options. There's also the matter of the court, because the tribunal has given its ruling, and the ruling of the tribunal is final.
Channel 5 News will continue trying to reach the company's spokesperson, Evans John, on the matter. Idona John Baptist, Channel 5 News.
On the political scene, interim leader of the Dominica Freedom Party, Michael Astafan, is proposing Dominica models on some of its regional counterparts in the way forward on cleaning the voters list. While Attorney General Levi Peters said political parties should be more proactive on taking steps to have the voters list cleaned, Astafan observed that Caribbean countries are leaving Dominica behind on that matter.
Every political party has to monitor what the Electoral Commission is doing. Let's look at the other territories, what they do. They visit your home and they find out if the names of these people are there. They do that within every electoral process, and if the person is not there, and they do that 2-3 times, in some territories they remove it from your name from the list. I know I was at a meeting where they had several political parties there, several from, 1 or 2 from the same countries. And this is what is being done.
Astefan made reference to Antigua's mass voter re-registration exercise in 2013 under a Baldwin-Spencer government leading up to that country's March 2014 general elections.
Antigua had more voters than us, and they re-registered the entire list in 3 months. At the time when the Electoral Commission didn't have the transportation to travel and they didn't have telecommunications, the political parties had to do it, or else if they didn't do it, they were disadvantaged. But if you look at the role of a registering officer, they need to visit the houses. It's an ongoing thing. And what they do is, right now, they ask you to bring in the other islands a telephone bill or something to indicate that you live in this house. And if you're not there, you have to prove you live there, okay, within an election cycle. We're not asking for that. We're just asking for what all the other countries did. Every country in CARICOM, except Dominica, did a complete re-registration.
Meantime, Astefan said the DFP is looking forward to consultation on proposed amendments on elections legislation. He says following the 2005 general elections, the party made recommendations to the Electoral Office on electoral reform.
We met with the Electoral Commission, and then we were asked to do a joint paper with the UWP, which we did. And that paper was submitted to the Electoral Commission and to the different political parties and the newspaper in a press conference. At the end of that, there was a heads of government meeting, and we went to St. Kitts. That is, Judith Pestina was the leader of the Freedom Party at the time, and Ron Green. They went to St. Kitts to present our position, okay? Basically, we sought to have enforcement of the laws. And we're asking not for new recommendations, but the same recommendations. What we recommended, we keep asking them when it's going. It hasn't been discussed at the Commission yet.
On to the courts now, where 2 Colombian nationals remain inmates at the Dominica State Prison after they changed their guilty plea of a charge of possession of a card-making device to not guilty. Andres Giovanni Giraldo Salamanca, a male from Colombia, and Angie Marcela Garcia Garzon, a female also from Colombia, were arrested and charged for the offense, which the state alleges took place between 29th April 2017 and 4th May 2017. However, since their guilty plea, the Financial Intelligence Unit, FIU, has slapped them with 3 money laundering charges, and as a result, they have changed their previous guilty plea to not guilty. The FIU is alleging that the two did engage in money laundering by having in their possession over $6,000 US or 16,000 EC dollars, and that it was from the proceeds of crime. They are also alleging that the two did engage in money laundering by having in their possession 10,000 EC dollars, and that it was from the proceeds of crime. The other charge is that the two did engage in money laundering by having in their possession 7,000 EC dollars from the proceeds of crime. The matter has been adjourned to 14th August 2017. They are represented by attorney-at-law Wayne Norde. In other stories, middle and senior level managers in the private sector are now better equipped on how to increase productivity in the workplace. This was the aim of a 3-day leadership challenge workshop facilitated by Caribbean Catalyst from Barbados.
Today we are working through how really excellent leaders enable others to act and encourage the heart. And one of the tools we've used throughout the workshop is a 360 feedback, which all the leaders participating had input from their direct reports, their peers and their bosses. So they're using that real-time feedback to look for practical improvements as they go back to their shop.
Fine Foods Inc. Auto Trade Limited led the initiative to provide this opportunity to its middle and senior level managers to help improve efficiency in the workplace.
We find that customer service, productivity, efficiency may be low at companies, and we wonder why. But it is because of the leadership. And leadership is very important in the success of companies. It's very important in the development of employees, getting them to be at their best potential. And so this week we were given the tools. Those of us who probably had some already, they were reinforced and they will be put into practice. They will, of course, enable the employees of our companies to be better, perform better, and get ultimately the best results.
The National Cooperative Credit Union and National Bank of Dominica also partnered with FFI for this workshop.
This session is very informative, and we believe that if our leaders who are really our supervisors, our managers, have access to these sessions, we can have much more productivity in the workplace.
I personally have taken quite a lot away from it. I'm hoping to, immediately eager to get using some of the new things that I've learned in here and so on, especially in terms of helping my own people, develop, giving them confidence, giving them the power that I realize that they need to help them grow, to help the bank grow in general.
Approximately 28 managers participated in the 3-day Leadership Challenge workshop. Moving on to the creative industries now, where the first ever Caribbean Performing Arts Conference got underway in Dominica on Tuesday. The event, organized by the Caribbean Performing Arts Federation, CPAF, will engage participants on the business, management, and legal aspects of the music industry in recognition of the need to bridge that gap from talented hobbyist to creative commercial performer. Speaking at the opening ceremony on Tuesday, Program Operations Director of CPAF Inc., Sandra James, said it was high time for action to be taken to ensure better quality output from the creative arts industry.
To be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are available, it is important to have a region-wide coordinated platform to foster dialogue, assist with proper development policies and initiatives that would lead to the creative industry sector providing valuable and viable economic means to our territories. In other words, we're all talked out. It's time for action.
Meantime, Minister for Commerce, Roslyn Paul, says there is economic gain to be had from the creative arts.
Through cultural industries, we have been providing goods and services, but I dare say we have greater potential to create products and services, valuable economic activities, employment, and wealth. As such, strategies being implemented and outlined in the National Cultural Policy are geared at translating cultural practices and expressions into goods, services, and products for economic gain and economic development. We have found in CPAF an important partner and continue to collaborate with this organization, this time for what is considered a very important conference.
20 individuals are participating in this first ever Caribbean Performing Arts Conference. Coming up, young Dominican entrepreneurs selected to benefit from OECS Youth Empowerment and Entrepreneurship Initiative. Welcome back. A Marigat man charged with murder will know his fate on Wednesday after Judge Victoria Charles Clark sums up the case. Rudy Jr. Jones is charged with the August 2012 murder of Falcon Wallace. Jones told the court that in August 2012, he went to a shop to buy a Guinness with EC $1,800 in his possession. According to him, he felt two hands in his pockets with the deceased and another man threatening to rob him. He says after he left the shop, he was again told that he was going to be robbed and felt a blow to his ear. He told the court the deceased attempted to slap him again and he defended himself using his knife. State Attorney Fernelia Felix said, open quote, self-defense was off the table. It's a matter of plain revenge and retaliation, close quote. Defense lawyer David Bruni told the jury, open quote, the statement of the accused is very clear. He was going to be robbed that night and had to defend himself, close quote. Justice Victoria Charles Clark will address the jury and sum up the case on Wednesday. 3 Dominican entrepreneurs are among 30 nationals of the OECS sub-region selected as winners to benefit from the organization's Youth Empowerment and Entrepreneurship Initiative dubbed 30 Under 30. Sherwin Thomas is being recognized for his work in media and entertainment, Mitch John Charles for agriculture, and Udin Samuel for website design. The OECS received over 100 applications during the 5 months that were open for nominations. Nominees had to be 30 years or under at the time of nomination. According to a release from the OECS Commission, winners will receive business support from the OECS Competitive Business Unit in the form of mentorship to aid their professional and business development, technical assistance in sourcing markets, and financial assistance. Thomas is a key organizer behind the Color Me Fete and formerly a member of the events management group DSC Vibes Aras Entertainment.
It's a great honor. I mean, I didn't expect it. It was just, I just went into the competition with an open mind. I just did all my research on what it is, business is, an event, and I just brought it to the competition, and I ended up one of the winners. Well, I think that it would be a great venture for us to, work with the OECS. I guess they will have a few pointers for us. We're still young. I mean, my group is about from ages 18 to like 22, so we're really young and we're here to learn from those higher than us. So it would be a great venture and it would be a great experience for the OECS to work with us and help us build with our company and the entertainment industry in Dominica.
Another winner, Mitch John Charles, said it will help boost his agro-processing efforts.
It's an honor and a privilege to be selected in this award program. As you know, several young persons across the OECS applied to this program, and I'm very happy and elated to know that my business idea was one of the chosen few.
And one of the issues which received some attention during the month of May, Africa Month, is that of medicinal cannabis. Cannabis has always been controversial, but the local Rastafari community is concerned about what it says is misinformation and miseducation about the plant. A local herbalist is passionate about the need to go back to the natural remedies. He addressed a cannabis symposium in keeping with Africa Month.
So we have a lot of work to do. First, to discuss the myths on these plants. One of the myths that we have received, and to this present it hurts me to hear this myth repeated over the media. It is said that cannabis causes mental illness, schizophrenia. In my humble opinion, it's a blatant lie. Or, for a better term, it's untrue. Because the lie normally is to shock. Science has shown us that the cannabis plant is what we call a neurotransmitter. It's a neuroregulator. It's a neuroprotector. This plant is part and parcel with who we are. It's an indigenous plant.
Cannabis or marijuana is not just controversial but illegal in most jurisdictions in the region, but medical marijuana is allowed in certain U.S. states.
Now, it was this discovery of the endocannabinoid system, as well as the inadequate relief that physicians like myself were getting from approaches to treating what we call debilitated conditions and diseases like chronic pain, cancer, multiple sclerosis. It was the combination of these two factors, just like in the 1940s, the combination of the discovery of the endocannabinoid system, as well as the failure, the difficulties, the challenges to treat conditions, chronic conditions like chronic pain and other chronic conditions, led to a resurgence in the interest of cannabis for medicinal purposes.
The cannabis plant contains over 700 chemicals, and Dr. Pascal pointed out that most of the effects on health come from recreational use or smoking.
What I must say about the psychiatric disorders and the addiction and dependence, these are related to several things. The age at which one may use cannabis. We know the young mind, the child's mind, or the child's brain, if you will, not the mind, or the adolescent brain is not fully developed. So you would expect anything you use that has an effect on the way the tissue of the brain develops may have some adverse effects. So it's the age of onset, the potency of what is used recreationally, the frequency, the dosage, and the predisposition of the individual to these conditions anyway. So who knows to what extent I am predisposed to getting mad tomorrow. And if, as an 18-year-old, you think you have a predisposition to anxiety, and as most teenagers, you experiment. That's what we all do as teenagers, the majority of us, I hope. You might experiment with cannabis. If you experiment with cannabis, it relieves your anxiety. By the time you get to 25, you've been using it for how many years to relieve your anxiety? But you're already predisposed to anxiety and depression and psychiatric illnesses. When you go to see a doctor, obviously, he's going to have to say that it's the cannabis you smoked that's responsible for your psychiatric illness when you may have been predisposed to it all the time. So therein lies the difficulty and the challenges with the plan.
That's news. Your sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
First up in sports, 2 games are scheduled in the national leagues of the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association on Wednesday. At 7, Ronald Charles All-Stars will come up against PSC Falcons 2 in the first division, to be followed by Intellico Security Service Raiders versus Detroit Blazers at 9 p.m. The action is set to unfold at the Massac Hardcourt. Meantime, Bear Charles Secondary escaped by the skin of their teeth to beat St. Mary's Academy by 5 points in the Sports Division Schools Under-15 Basketball Championship on Monday. Final scores: PCSS 71, SMA 66. Top scorers for PCSS were Yawani Rages 35 points, Sherwin Williams 14, and Minilink Cabon 13 points. In a losing effort, Jonathan Henderson added 20 points to SMA's total. He was assisted by Kohaf Baron and Ravik Harriot, who contributed 18 points each. Sports continues with this item, where one local sports consultant says although the Dominican team had good performances at the Windward Island Senior Men's Tournament, they could have had more dominance on the field of play. The Windward Island Senior Men's Tournament concluded in Dominica on Friday.
I think the tournament went well, except to say that I thought Dominica had an outright chance to win the competition. The match against St. Vincent, I wasn't too satisfied at Dominica's ploy. Dominic led St. Vincent 153 on first innings, and I thought they should have pressed home the advantage, gone on to try to win the match. They beat St. Lucia outright at Benjamin's Park in the final game. And I thought that if they had pressed home the advantage against St. Vincent here at Windsor Park, they would have had an outright chance to win the competition.
Joseph's concern lies with the number of days a match lasts in the tournament.
we've had these tournaments over the past years, and we've been having them over a 2-day period. When will the Windward Islands Cricket Board of Control decide, all right, look, we're going to revert back, say, to a 3-day tournament or a 4-day tournament like we had in the past? We've had a number, and even so, we've had a number of persons who've come to the fore who've been knocking at, have made the West Indies team. And I think it's time now for us to expose our players to a couple more days of cricket. You're having players in a 2-day tournament and preparing them for a 4-day regional West Indies competition. How does that team out? I do not know, but I think the Windward Islands Cricket Board of Control has got to take a look at that aspect of it.
However, he says the exposure was good for Alec Athanas ahead of the Under-19 tour of South Africa and Zimbabwe in July.
Athanas is a wonderful little batsman. I like his style. I love to see the grace, the elegance and the class with which he plays. It can only augur well for him and for the future, for his future and for the development of cricket, not only in the Windwards but in the West Indies. So after he comes back from West Indies tour of duty in South Africa and Zimbabwe, we want to see Athanas go on, perform at the Windward Islands level, play for the Windward Islands Volcanoes, for instance, and find a way to make him play. There are other players, but then when you have a player who is relished on the West Indies circuit, you want to be able to give him as much opportunity to play as possible.
Meantime, Police Sports Club defeated Mao United by 8 wickets in the Dominica Cricket Association's Intermediate League recently. Mao won the toss and decided to bat first, scoring 112 all out in 24.4 overs. Daryl Damier took 3 for 15, Gavin James 2 for 28 and Erwin Burton 2 for 28. In reply, Police Sports Club scored 115 for 2 in 15.4 overs. Daryl Damier had an unbeaten 56 and Brian Felix 30 not out. Daryl Damier is Print Express Man of the Match. In table tennis, the local governing body on the sport reported a lower turnout in the 3rd edition of the Grand Prix here. Athletes in the under 11, under 13 and senior categories are expected to begin training following Saturday's event. Former president of the Dominica Table Tennis Association, Edgar Berridge, spoke with Marpin Sports and said selection of athlete representatives at various levels will be decided closer to August. The under 11 and under 13 athletes are expected to make their debut appearance on the regional scene in Jamaica in August. The senior team will be in Trinidad for a table tennis competition from August 14 to 18. Finally, 8 teams have made it to the quarterfinals of the Guinness Knockout Domino competition following recent matches played at Goodwill Primary Auditorium.
Dolphin from Scott said they destroyed the dangerous public enemies to knock them out of the competition. Final scores: Dolphins 4,007, enemies 3,129. In other matches, 1K some Dodan 4,011, Purple City Boys from Tarish Street 3,794, Remix from Eggleston 4,002, Rebels from Funkoli 3,458, Chambers from Granby 4,004, Rivier Silk 3,093, Rockers from Pebbush 4,003, Babdad from Granford 2,757, Wake Up Stars from Portsmouth 4,014, Non-Players from Castlebush 3,263, Monzain from Mau 4,012, Hits from Roseville 2,052, and Metrics from Baffested 4,023, Golden Lands from Sufria 2,955. The following matches will be played this weekend in the quarterfinals. Dolphin will go up against Rockers, Tremors will go up against Remix, Metrics will go up against Zion, and Wake Up Stars will go up against One Kiss.
That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us next time.
Stay tuned for the weather forecast.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am Janet Macpherson. Infrared satellite imagery today showed a few low-level clouds across the eastern Caribbean and this area of multi-layered clouds across Puerto Rico and Hispaniola. Visible satellite imagery today showed partly cloudy to cloudy skies across Dominica. Radar imagery indicated some scattered showers across Dominica this afternoon. The weather for tonight: partly cloudy to cloudy, hazy and breezy with scattered showers. These conditions are expected to continue into tomorrow with temperatures peaking up to 31 degrees Celsius. Seas tomorrow moderate in open water, waves peaking up to 7 feet. Small craft operators and sea bathers are advised to exercise caution. Looking ahead for the next 3 days, occasionally cloudy skies and scattered showers are expected on Wednesday and Thursday. By Friday, an increase in cloudiness and showers are expected due to the approach of a tropical wave. Throughout the Caribbean tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies and scattered showers expected mainly across the northern and central portion of the region. On the international cities forecast, overcast conditions expected in New York, partly cloudy skies in Miami, a chance of rain in London, cloudy skies in Caracas, and clear skies for the city of Beijing. Sunrise tomorrow at 5:33 a.m. and the sunset at 6:33 p.m. For up-to-date weather information, visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again. The Dominica Trade Union tells Jacques Gadacan it is time to pay outstanding salaries to employees of West Indies Aggregate. Private sector managers now better prepared to increase productivity in the workplace. And the DFP recommends Dominica pattern on regional counterparts in sanitizing its voters list. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNewsTuesday30thmay2k17. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you for watching. Join us next time.